Hello everyone, and welcome to the 15th episode of Pointers with the Pros, where we sit down with Dustless Blasting business owners and get their insight on owning a blasting business. My name is Michael.
And I'm Kaylin. And on this episode, we sat down with Frank, who owns PD Blasting with his father in Ontario. Frank's story is pretty unique because he actually had no experience with sandblasting or the surface preparation industry before starting this business 3 years ago.
That's right. Frank's father was shown a few Dustless Blasting videos and decided this was too good of an opportunity to pass up. He felt there was a real need for surface preparation in his area, and he was right.
And because Frank and his father really didn't have a ton of experience, they took advantage of our online academy to watch tutorial videos and really get as much information as possible once they bought their machine. But not only that, in the beginning, they just wanted to practice blasting on anything and everything they could get their hands on. So I'll let Frank tell you more about how they got started and a few suggestions on how you can be successful in this industry, even if you have no experience with sandblasting.
So it's a blasting company. Now, believe it or not, it kind of happened because of the Dustless Blasting. A lot of it was the advertising that you guys did, was what you guys put out there. Fantastic videos you guys had. And I was a truck driver at the time. My dad started the company and we imported the machine to Ontario. And we started blasting some random stuff. And it at first was like, okay, what are we doing, right? But eventually I quit my job. I was like, okay, we got to get this going because there's definitely a demand for it. People were calling us about it. And then we got going with some other things. We built the website. It slowly started taking off, more and more jobs. At first it was very slow, but slowly it started getting busier and busier. And then you guys definitely helped with getting the parts and stuff like that, and information too. You guys definitely helped with information. We're like, how do we do this? What do we do here? Because we had no idea. Okay, so we had no idea about blasting. We didn't know what was blasting. The only thing we knew was the videos you guys had, and we actually watched a lot of your videos to try to find out. So people watching this, the content you guys create is fantastic. You guys really show the blasting, how it works, and kind of give some details, and it really helps with the blasting working. And otherwise, it just kind of took off.
And, going back to you guys had never had any experience with sandblasting or anything like that. No. Can you talk about the learning curve with that and what helped you just, get more familiar and more comfortable, I guess, using the equipment and just sandblasting in general?
Honestly, it was, and it's a great question. No, we did not know anything about blasting, nothing at all. It was funny because normally you like to start something that you know a little bit about, right? Now, Dad was like, yeah, I think I had some experience way back then. And I'm like, Dad, we got to have something. But no, he's like, honestly, we kind of looked at it and we looked at the videos, and it's very simple. It's very straightforward. But the thing is, once you get into it, there's so much to know. So it's not like it's just a simple job. It's really complex. There's things to know. And what happened was we just watched a lot of videos. And once we had the machine, we literally started doing things. We asked customers to bring us your stuff. We'll do it for very cheap because now we're getting our material paid for enough to practice. You're paying us to have our school. That's how we saw it. And same with a new, now we're doing a lot of different areas of blasting, very, very complex, very tricky. You can really damage things if you don't do it right. And this is dangerous. You gotta make sure that you know what you're doing. But if you carefully go about it, you can really find out ways, but then you just gotta tweak it. Find ways, watch a lot of Dustless Blasting videos. They are very helpful. And besides that, do some research, Google it, and slowly you get to know some things. And contact suppliers, like we did that a lot too. We became friends with even competitors too. It's funny how a lot of our competitors, they were very helpful. At first, we're like, we shouldn't talk to our competitors, but they were like very friendly and all that kind of stuff. So we talked to them and we said, hey, can we have a meeting with you? We're starting out with blasting. We want to see if we can do that well in our area, right? There's so much work out there, right? So we didn't want to destroy the market, because if we destroy the market by looking bad in the blasting industries, it would hurt them as well. First off, what we did is we reached out to them. We said, look, what area are you not in and what area do you not like? Now he wants to work with you because you said, okay, I'll do the things you can't do or don't want to do.
Right.
So connect with them and ask where can I fulfill a void in the blasting industry? Especially if you you're looking at it from the big picture, you're like, I don't know what to join and where do I go? Ask your competition. You say, where do you blast? What do you do? Yeah. I'll do the example. If you do cars, okay, I'll do the industrial. Okay, you do industrial, I'll do commercial.
Frank gave some really good advice there. Something I want to reiterate, if you're a new Dustless Blasting business owner and you land a type of job that you've never done before, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help answer any questions you have and give recommendations specific to your situation.
That's right. Or make sure that you're engaged with our private business owner group on Facebook. Everyone in that group is super eager to help one another. And if there's a job that you really don't know much about, it's likely that someone in that group has done it or can help advise you.
Exactly. But I will say a lot of people want to be sure that they're able to get customers even before purchasing a machine from us. They need that reassurance that they'll be successful in this industry.
Definitely. And if you are someone who needs that confidence, we recommend getting in touch with your local contractors or calling businesses in your area and see if you can land a few jobs before purchasing your machine. So I'll let Frank give some of his advice to those of you who want to know more about how to find customers.
Go contact your competitors. That's the hardest part probably. And then go contact a lot of contractors and become friends with them. Like honestly, if they're your friends, they'll get you business. And another part, that's just you doing the word of mouth part. This is really what I did. I looked at Google and I found any company that might require blasting, and I contact them or go to their door. Now with COVID, it was a little bit different. You do either phone call or stuff like that. But now it's starting to the point where people are recommending you a lot. At 3.5 years in, people recommend you a lot, and it helps a lot. But for social media wise, it's very important to have an online presence. Now look at Dustless Blasting, for example. They have an online presence. They're well with that. That's one place to start. Like do online as well. Facebook, social media, make a website, buy your package or whatever it is, right? But it's very important to have that because keywords everybody Googles everything. If I want to have a restaurant near me, it's restaurant near me in Google, right?
Right.
You gotta have that. And then also a website, people are informed quickly, very simply, right? This is what I do and this is how I can make your life better online, because everybody searches everything online. We do that, so we should give it to our customers, right? We're seeing a lot of work coming in from the commercial side of work, especially commercial and residential. But we take on whatever we can, but we try to avoid the work that doesn't pay a lot. Because the thing is, it's difficult work, and some work, the blasting doesn't make sense, and so you have to charge cheap, and then it doesn't make sense to pay for your employee and pay for all the things you have to have into it. But if you keep doing that, you just keep working the same position, you don't really grow, right? So we see a lot of growth coming from the commercial residential area, and also pools and stuff like that. We still do those, but when it goes to pools, we connect with other contractors, painting contractors. We connect with other companies that they don't have the blasting equipment, and become friends with them and say, look, we can accept blasting and painting work, but we'll hand the painting work to you, and we expect the same.
What general advice would you give to someone who is like you, who sees our video and they're super excited and they're like, yes, let's do that, but they don't know anything about sandblasting or dustless blasting? What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out?
Definitely. I appreciate you asking the question, because just 3 years ago, I was right there, or 4 years ago now. But really what I would say is take a look at what your area needs. Start researching by that. You can, and it works, and we did it that way. We went and bought the machine before we did any research. It works. It definitely works that way too, but it's more secure if you do some research about what your area needs. What kind of blasting, and where would the blasting that you can provide with the Dustless Blasting machine, where could you give that work to? Find contractors, contact them, give them a call. A lot of them are very happy to give you information about this stuff. So ask them, where can I use this machine? How can I help you with this? And find your niche, find where the machine would help. And then there you have more of a secure, you feel a lot better about the purchase when you buy it, because you know that there's already work kind of lined up before you even make the purchase.
So, now that Frank and his father have been in business for a few years, they've landed some really big and exciting jobs.
That's right. And so I asked Frank if he had any favorite projects that they've taken on, and how he would recommend pricing some of those bigger jobs for people looking to get into commercial work. Here's what he had to say.
Favorite project? Yes, I do. There is it was one of the first jobs that we had. This was a huge tank, 30,000 square feet. That was huge for us. We were like, that's amazing. So we got to blast the outside, take the mill scale off so they could recoat it. Now these are big tanks on the outside for fertilizer, right? Liquid fertilizer storage, and they put trains by. Very large, very large. It was a huge project. When I looked at it, I'm like, and I became friends with this guy. It was crazy how I got into contact with this guy, but long story, So we got in contact with this guy. He gave us this job. It was too big to imagine, especially when you're starting out. I have to say this, especially when you're starting out, 30,000 square feet seems like a lot. You're like, there's no way we're doing this. It's scary, but then you take it on and actually it's a lot more enjoyable than like, it's a lot more work for a lot less research, a lot less finding out. It's bigger. It's right away. It's a lot better. So it was a lot of fun. My dad actually went on vacation at that time. It was me and my brother that was doing that tank at that time.
Oh my gosh.
That was right in the beginning.
He said, see ya, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't want
Looks
any
like
part
you
of
got it.
Yeah. That's so
Looks
funny.
like you got it.
How long did it end up taking you guys, you know?
That tank took us 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
2.5 weeks, constant work, but it was, I think we worked 6 hours a day and we banked big on that. We thought it was a lot of money. At that point, it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
We're very excited about that. It boosted us a lot and encouraged us a lot. When you get one of those, it's very exciting. It's funny, after 2.5 years, you get really good at 2.5 to 3 years, you get really good at seeing a project and knowing what the cost will be very quickly. At first, it's very difficult. You send there, okay, you quote a job, it takes you about 2 hours to quote one job. And now it's like 15 minutes, you're done, you send the price. So don't give up on that. It gets better because like it's just some time. You have to understand the blasting process. But a lot of the process is over the phone and via video, pictures and stuff like that, and size and measurements. And you ask all these questions that you asked before, so you know what to give them, and then you give out a price like that. Some of the project is like since we've gained the trust from a lot of clients, they just say, come and do this. They don't even ask. They just say, come and do this. Now, be it 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 square feet, they just say, come and do it, right? We enjoy that, but it takes time to get to that point. And then there's also those that they want to have exact measurements and stuff like that. You go out there and because with bricks is very tricky. You kind of need to do a test piece sometimes. So it's some projects that need a test piece done, and we normally have a little bit of a rate for that. If it's an ongoing customer that we're good with, we don't have a rate for that. We just go and do it for them because they've rewarded us well beforehand. Basically, you need to know your hourly rate. You need to know how much your machine is costing you per hour, how much does media cost, how much does fuel cost, how much does employee cost. You got to know all those things, how much they cost you to drive there. Put that all in the hourly rate. Now add some profit to that. You need to have profit and then go from there. And then that could be your hourly rate, but then it depends on what else you do in the project. So especially when you're bidding a job, you got to calculate everything. The whole project's got to be calculated. The time it takes to travel there, the time it takes to set up, the time, because the employees got to be paid. You got to consider that. And then you got to look at every detail as much as you can. The blasting part, how long do you estimate that would take to blast? Use your hourly rate. And then you go, if they want a square footage charge, you kind of use your hourly rate as a ruler. So you look at a job site, you say that's going to take about 3 hours. You do your 3 hours, what that would cost, plus all the extra work it will take to clean up, if they want that, containment, if they want the drive time, how far away is from your city, all that, and then divide it by the square foot, and you have the square foot, the total amount versus the square foot. And make sure you add some profit into it. You got to have profit in there as well.
We know that figuring out how to price jobs in the beginning is scary and time-consuming, especially if you've never offered these types of services before. We do have a guide on our academy called How to Price Jobs. It has lots of helpful information in it, including real-world examples. So, if you're not even sure where to start when it comes to pricing jobs, that guide is definitely a helpful place to begin.
And Frank mentioned that there's a lot to learn when you start a business for the first time, but especially in an industry that you don't have much experience in. So stick with it, ask questions, work hard, and get to know people in the industry, and you'll be a pro in no time.
The last thing Frank mentioned was how different his life is now that he's owned a blasting business for a few years. I'll let him tell you about what an amazing opportunity it has been for him to work alongside his family and help restore businesses and homes in his community.
The favorite part is, and especially, I can't say this will be for everybody, but this is especially for me, is that we get to work as a family. My family, my dad's doing basically, he's very involved with the company. I'm in there, and it can be very stressful, but it actually unites us a lot because we contact every day, we help each other, and if we're working on the same page, it connects us a lot. In a family business, and you guys promote that a lot. I like that about you guys. you guys really promote the family business and putting the family. A lot of people say don't work with your family. I think that's really, really backwards. You should work with your family. Your family are your closest friends. You can trust them, stuff like that, and stuff like that. I think it's really, really, it united with my family quite a bit, the business itself. One thing is for sure, I do work probably more than I did before, but also because I'm a very driven person. If I see a goal, I'll do it, right? But I do work a lot. But the other thing is now I feel a lot more connected with my community. You know people, you start connecting with whoever, right? If you don't run a business, it's a little, you go to your job site and you don't really think about many more things. But if you have, you connect with a lot more people when you have a business and stuff like that. I think it makes the whole community a lot better if there's businesses and stuff like that. The people know each other better, you help each other, you're making a common goal. I think this does help people like communities, families, stuff like that. You guys are definitely promoting not just your equipment, but you're promoting unity, family, and stuff like that. I think that's fantastic.
Now that is so awesome. Having the opportunity to work alongside the people you love and trust most is such a unique experience, and one that I personally love to see happen when people get into this business. And after talking with several business owners, I found that all of them feel so much more connected to their community once they've been in business.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we had from our conversation with Frank. Thank you guys so much for joining us with this episode of Pointers with the Pros. The links to every resource mentioned in this episode can be found in the description below, so please make sure to check those out.
That's right. And a special shout out to Frank for sitting down with us and sharing everything that he's learned in the last 3 years of being in business. We really appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions about our machines or how to start a business with them, visit dustlessblasting.com or contact us directly. We'll see you next time.